feel like my head's gonna explode. All right, that's most of them. Let me just wait on YouTube. Oh, here we go. All right, welcome everybody. Hope I can talk. On the live and the replay, we got the beautiful Yvania, my beloved sister. I still remember the night that we connected. It was a very special time for me. It was also a very difficult time. Uh, that was what was that? 2 years ago. I was at Zavetta Da Vinci's house.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that was a very that must have been yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I'm all over the place. We're gonna play the intro. It's a minute and 19 seconds, and allow people time to come in. We'll be right back. How's it going, everybody? Let me try to comb my hair. Uh, we have a couple of quick announcements. I get my head together. I'm a little bit out of it. It's 4 shows today. Tomorrow we have Renata Edeni from our friend from Greece, who's a lot like Yvania. She's got really pure intel and very connected. Jason Estes, Jamie Williams from Arkansas, beautiful lady, and Heather and Luis Rice James. Other than that, thank you for your continued love and support and contributions. Allow us to keep doing this by the seat of our pants every single day. And that's not a complaint. Yvania is one of the closest sisters to my heart, and we've always just had a immediate and special connection, which doesn't surprise me because she has the same connection with Morgan. But the thing about you is your intel is it's always like in line with what we get over here with Morgan and I, and which is interesting because a lot of the stuff that you've reported when like we'll go through something as a couple and then you'll be like, hey, guess what happened to me last night, and so and even not in that case, but yeah, so your stuff is God, we've just had some great shows. You like brought out some great information. I haven't connected to any of your expressions lately or any of your posts. I did see a YouTube, I want to say a couple of weeks ago. It might have been older than a couple of weeks though. That was pretty interesting. I want to say it's probably more like 3 or 4 weeks ago. But I haven't really been paying attention to much at all anyway. Just my own, like I said in that one Soul Speak, it's my own ass I'm saving. Ain't no one gonna do for you what you can do for you. To thine own self be true. But yeah, so how you doing? What's going on? How's your mom? I know you're moving. That's energetically significant.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, are you getting anything collectively? Like this is getting, this is like every month was like long. Each month was longer than the one before.
Mm.
More stuff went down, and now we're what is it? 11/23, 23/11. We got 7 days left in November and a whole month in December, and I don't even want to think about 2021. I'm just like saying, man, I want to just keep my shift together just because every day is just massive. This weekend was massive. So how you been doing? What's going on with you?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've spoken. I've been pretty pretty quiet on YouTube, Facebook, and all of that sort of thing. So, yeah, where to start? I think, like we were saying, you know, Morgan and I are very similar. I have never met anybody yet who has been so similar in the way that she communicates with her future self.
Yeah.
And so for those that don't know me or haven't heard this before, I've been communicating with my future self, right, for that I can recognize through communication means by writing and that sort of thing for about 40 years. And so that knowledge of future self and the intel that would come from future self has been going for a really long time. And at times it would almost be, you know, when will this stuff be happening? And the main things that I would get, that I would write about to myself about, which sounds funny, would be merging and stepping into a future humanity and what that looked like. And also, you know, the intel on what appears to be is not what it is. So always guidance on not to participate in anything outside of yourself, right? Because nothing is what it appears to be. So last year when we spoke, I think it was in December, I was saying to you that a huge portal opened within me and my future self walked out and walked past me. And I had this really strange feeling that she was going to sort of walk through me, but walked past. And I thought she was walking into me. So I knew the merging was coming because I could feel it. And it was like, okay, so this is what's happened. Basically, future self has stepped into me, and it came with this intense period of really trippy stuff with lots of dreaming, lots of dimensional activity, and lots of turmoil, a hell of a lot of turmoil, a real shaking of everything. And then it just, the merging, how it happened was, it was experienced through me as though I was lifted up. She came into me, we merged. It was a weird feeling in the brain. It was a weird feeling in the body. But it all went really quiet and we were sort of, we're face to face talking to each other as one, right? And it was like everything, all that dimensional activity, any sort of guidance that was outside of me still, even with the idea of future self being outside of me, came into me. So the stillness in the mind, the stillness in dimensions, and the connection with that future humanity just, you know, really expanded and came into the body. And with that merging came this event of like this explosion of purification. So that was just prior to, it was like a nuclear explosion.
When did this happen?
So starting in June, but the actual explosion and then the merging was in September. And so what I was getting was in this December, because last December this opened up for the future self, the meeting of future self. So this December, this is what's happening.
So
right?
This happened, but you're saying this happened this year, right?
It happened to me, yeah.
Okay, so it happened I want to go back to it, but I just want to kind of, because anytime something correlates, I guess I'm supposed to say it, you know, whether it's something I observed or something happened to me, but I remember specifically June 1st, on that day, everything changed. Like everything really, really changed. And Morgan and I had an activation that morning. And then you said September. So September was the period when it kind of it changed again. And for us, and we talked about a lot on the shows. I'm not going to talk about it, but there was this period of a balanced a balanced sacred union frequency, not to be just unique to a couple, that was being pulsated out from epicenters around the world. We happen to be involved in Sedona, and we're shown what was going to happen. Then we experienced what was shown, which was androgynous individuals and couples carrying the sacred union frequency, the merging of the feminine and the masculine, and so that was the same type of the same time period markers that you're talking about. So I think that's significant.
Yeah, there was a significant merging as well with my divine masculine, and I sent Morgan a picture of my
That was in line here too.
Divine masculine.
Yeah, you did that, and then she put one up, and then all these women put one up, and that was the masculine merging. That was happy. Yeah, so it's the same thing. Yeah, I remember now. You were the one that started that. Yeah, you're pretty hot. You're pretty hot as a man, by the way.
I reckon.
Yeah. Some of them were scary, but you and Morgan look pretty hot. Yeah.
It was awesome. But
so what happened from now? So you're saying that December is so you had that happen, and then what happened between September and today?
Yeah,
as we head into December.
Between September and today, it's just been getting used to just running on autopilot with, it's like anything outside of myself. So guidance, you get into the habit of seeking guidance, or even the habit of wanting to talk to my future self about something, and it's like, oh shit, it's me. Okay, I can do whatever I like. I'm in a frequency that is allowing for that expansion of whatever I desire, right? So it's so quiet. It's just deadly quiet, and I've wanted to be quiet as well, because it's like back in the day I used to announce stuff, and it just doesn't feel right to announce that sort of thing, rather than just to sort of move with it where the frequency is, just being there and not being concerned with what is happening, what isn't happening, as much as I used to be, rather than making this happen. We all are. It's like you plug in. I think we've spoken about this before, and I said, I've got like these golden tentacles, so that you just plug in with others in that frequency. You can feel the ones that are in it, and you plug in, and that's the force, that's the source, that's the fabric, that's what it is. And it's it feeds you, it feeds itself, and so you're all self-supporting in here. So getting used to unplugging from that other, I am not self, is something else. But you can feel the shaking now because it's moving us into that future timeline where we're coming into alignment with our future selves. And that purity, that force of purity and purification behind it has amped up so incredibly. It's like it really is a force. That pure love force is something that anything that is inorganic, synthetic, planted within DNA or anything like that, it will just obliterate It's a force that does no harm. It doesn't take from anything or anyone, and it's really here. It's really
Yeah.
here.
And it's like, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And I just thought of this, right? Well, I thought of a rocket ship, but I've never been on a rocket ship, but I've been on hundreds of planes. And um, like it's like, when you take off on a plane, and I have been on hundreds and hundreds. I mean, I traveled for every week for like 10 years. And so you kind of get used to it. You think you would, but every now and then you get on the plane, you start to take off, you start to like, and it's vibrating, and that thought goes through thoughts go through your head like, oh my God, like, and I guess what I'm saying is you're on that ascent, and then at a certain point you level, right? And it's just like everything's cool. I feel like that's what we're doing right now. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like we're on that ascension of a plane, and you have all that vibration and uncertainty, and it's nothing threatening, but it's so different and atypical that you're kind of going like, like, okay, you're not used to it. And I'm not saying that when we hit that plane of the higher level or whatever it is, and it smooths out, that it's going to be anything like what we're used to in our old comfort zone. But I do feel like a lot of what people are talking about, what I'm feeling in the last few weeks, a lot of it has not been about heart-wrenching traumas coming up and this kind of stuff. It's just been the body and some emotion. A lot of people say they've been crying, they don't know why, men and women.
yeah,
So it's just like this kind of vibrational thing that you're not used to. And I feel like, regardless of how fast it's becoming and all that, that what you're describing is kind of the anchoring element, which I've
yeah,
heard people say it in the last few days. And they've said, I'm like, my friend last night just said, my guides keep telling me, because I'm asking my guides, what do I do? As we've always done, right? And her guides are just telling her, hey, just be. You don't have to
that's
do
right.
anything. You don't have to
Yeah,
do anything now.
yeah. I got that for years, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, but you still feel like you need to be knowing things. You need
Yeah.
to be, what we know is deeply planted within us, and this merging is so dense
Yeah.
in the body.
Yeah.
It is so in the body. It's like you were never in the body before. It just
Mm.
feels like you get to know the body for the first time,
Yeah.
and how it works, and it's such a it really, the body will take care of everything, because within our DNA, those seeds, those instructions, they're all there
True.
already.
True.
They're already all here for it.
Say that
And
again. Yeah. Say that again. You said we're getting used to the body. Yeah,
yeah, for the first
that
time.
actually makes sense. Well, in I think that's the evidence is that what everyone's been, well, what many people have talked about this year as the years gone on, which is my body's talking to me. Like
Yeah,
like
it started talking
and
about
the other thing too is that the level of presence is paralleling. So like the comment from my friend's team, hey, just be, don't do anything. Well, that's basically being present or forgetting what happened yesterday and all those 3D things that are going away, the memory, short-term memory. So that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
And with that in the body, and with that, we say, we are the source, right? You're your own source. So higher guidance, no, it's self. It's, you just know. And those dimensional experiences pretty much diminish unless you're looking into something to collapse. So there's there's just you, there's your
Yeah.
expression of you, there's the
Yeah.
creative element of that expression, and then there's the next thing. And so for me, what it's looked like since that thing in my life is that everything came into alignment at once. And everything that I've been desiring or wanting all just came in at the same time on the same so the inside is definitely reflecting what I'm moving through myself. So I'm aware that I'm the one moving it. You know, I'm the train,
Yeah.
I'm the person in it, I'm the tracks, and I am the destination until the next destination. It's like it's just this force that just keeps moving and propelling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's true. I remember last year talking to you, and I think I was talking to you, and we were talking about, one of us or both of us were talking about these episodes where we were like looking down at us. Like the higher self was looking down at the human, not in a bad way, but just observing. But like what you're describing is you know, is what it feels like. It feels like, it feels like, well, you're saying that you're getting used to the body. It's not like the human getting used to the body, but it is, but it's all these other aspects. It's getting crowded in here, but there's a lot, but it's working both ways. It's like you think this stuff's coming in and you're embodying it and you're gaining all that, but you're actually gaining an awareness of your body itself, the physical part.
Yeah. And you become more and more and more aware as you move into that merging, that there's nothing coming outside of you. There's no energy coming outside of you. There's nothing coming in from outside and activating. The energies aren't coming in anymore. They're actually coming from at the perfect time, and they're coming from some of us. You can feel when we're connected as we are. We're always connected, right? We always have been, always will be, humanity. But there's that aspect that was, that shadow system that was sort of hooked into the DNA, like inserted as a shadow, like a snippet that was accepted into the body as our own DNA, but it never was, right? You can't copy all of it because we have this infinity spark. That's our thing. That's our golden way that we are, right? And all of our organic connection has always been there. So as you feel that freeing through the system, through our force, you can really feel the energy coming into you as you expanding it out to others. So everything becomes more like you go through the stage, is there God? No. Is there some of it is really interesting to go through, right? And it's also there was a mourning with me as well, as I missed some multi-dimensional guides, if you like, that would navigate some of the dimensions within the labyrinths with me. And it's like, okay, it's just so quiet, it's just you, and you're free to express what it is you want to express, what it is that you wish to feel creatively to do. And then just more there's just more of you to do. Like I spend like hours and hours building this food forest, and then I'll go inside. I'm building a food forest at the moment.
What is a food forest?
Well, it's just like it's like a huge garden with fruit.
I got you.
Cool. self-sustaining food forest. And I can be like pushing wheelbarrows and shoveling and whatever all day, and then I can go inside and I can cook. Then I can work on my website. I can record. It's like energy to just keep going, which has been great. And dreaming has pretty much, I've always been a really huge lucid dreamer, and dream states were where you'd get so much information, do so much work, and that is now I'm sleeping. I'm actually sleeping.
So no recall in lucid dreams. Yeah, see, for me, there's a lot of, not every night, but there's a lot of lucid dreams. But I'm gonna go back to what you said earlier.
There was for me before.
Was there? Oh,
too.
before at the build up. Yeah.
Sleep. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do notice is I lucid dream a lot when I'm going, and my body's saying, "Hey, you need to go lay down."
Yeah.
Even if it's 20 minutes, like I just did one before this show, and 20 minutes, and my energy level is much different now. But you said something earlier too. It's another one that I think it kind of strikes me like the one you said about what I brought up earlier, but that nothing's coming at you. Everything's emanating from you, right? I mean, if you just think about that, think about what that says. So, we're in the age of self-empowerment. We're in the age of conscious co-creation, self-reliance, responsibility. So total responsibility. So just that statement, nothing's coming at you, everything's emanating from you. That really jives, because you can explain that so many different ways. And one way would be projection. Projection's coming at me, or an energy's coming at me. If I choose to absorb that energy and merge with it, I now know this is my choice. Where before, I just let it come in out of conditioning, then I went and blamed it on other people, and I was getting further and further and further away from myself. So there's a distinction there, because a lot of people have been talking about, oh, well, I'm not associating with that energy, and that's all understandable. We're all working it out. But there's also a lot of congealment occurring. A lot of people, both virtually and in person, a lot this year, even with COVID, where people are coming together, groups are coming together. We just had it last night with two friends, and it's not even what's said. It's just being in the same space. But anyway, getting back to what you were saying, it's like when we give permission or accept, we were basic for an energy to come into our field. We're basically merging consciously with that and owning that. You're not going to present something to me and I'm going to embrace you and then turn around and blame you for infringing on my space. Right. So I just love that comment, because there's so much wisdom in that little simple, profound statement. Nothing's coming at you.
Well, what happens if something comes towards me right now? And I don't see it as a reflection of me anymore, right? If that thing, I know it's not me that's coming, but as it comes towards me, it just purifies out. It just does itself. I don't have to worry, but there is that. What I want to get across, I guess, is not, there's that hurdle, if you like, that a lot of people struggle with everything is me. And I don't want to make you feel that I'm dissing anything that you feel for you, Todd, because I know that, there's that part that everything is a mirror, and it is until it isn't, and then it is again. So it's like, because in my own knowing, I know my source, and I know that there are many sources in many different experiences and dimensions, but I know my source. I know my source. I know that which is me, and I know that which is not me. And then you can take it to another level, and you could say, well, there's only one source, but it doesn't matter. Just know your source. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people that do struggle with other energies that are part of that shadow operating system that do come in, because next year is going to be all about DNA, and about we will see it reflected in many ways. We will be taking sovereignty over our own DNA, and what it will look like on the other side, you can probably guess, but it's all going to be about DNA and our sovereignty over our own organic original DNA, right? So there's that part of that DNA that, even though your organic DNA can't be activated, reprogrammed, whatever, that part that was inserted into this body, for the body thought, yeah, this looks and feels like it's mine, but it's not. That can be damaged greatly, and it can affect the body and that part of you that is in the body. So it's going to be a time of really stepping into sovereignty over your own body, and especially your own DNA, and really what I want to say, I'm just going to say, you're the only one that should be ever activating your own DNA.
I agree with you.
And yeah,
I think let me save you a little bit. Not that you care. But no, because look, I deal with practitioners every day, and I respect what they've done and what they do, but it's changing. Every single thing is changing. Don't stand before me and tell me, or you can stand before me and tell me that you're going to activate me or alter me or transform me or change me. That might have been true 2 years ago or even a year ago, but not anymore.
No.
Not anymore. I'm not giving you permission, first of all. And if I'm giving you permission because I'm in a weakened state or a shadowed state or a broken state or an imbalanced state, it's going to come to you real quick that it's not an alignment for you to do it for me, because there is one hard and fast rule in this universe. Nothing is going to do for you what you can do for yourself. Nobody gets something for free with the universe, and we're all the universe. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. And we've entered a new phase. So that's a very brave statement. I really, really respect you for putting it out there. I'm going to repeat it over and over, and I'm going to throw you under the bus when I do. No, I'm kidding. But I'm going to repeat that because it's true. I hadn't heard it really put that way, but it's absolutely true. This is
all beings. That goes. Yeah. That's not just allowing another human to activate DNA. You definitely don't want any other being activating your own DNA.
No.
That's only for you to do.
No.
Yeah.
If you are, I love it. We always have fun. So if you are, if you're taking sovereignty, because sovereignty is in our field today, and we go to sleep, we wake up tomorrow, it's going to be a wider expanse of sovereignty. So we know this is how it works. So why wouldn't it include? And it would make sense to include that, because that covers everything. Physician, heal thyself. So like when you say what's on the other side of it, I'm like, whoa, I'm going to turn on teleportation and, instantaneous healing. And we're already seeing some of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So that you could expand that out as well, because we are coming into our own self and our own future, what we are as humanity, as one humanity. And that is human beings as our own source. And that is our own guidance, our own guidance.
Yeah. Exactly.
From, that we're collapsing this realm of it's going to sound like blasphemy to some, of galactic this and that. And, I had to go through it too. But it's just, it serves a purpose. It's like it can either be our dimensional guide, right? Or it can be something else. It's all part of another system that isn't part of our system. And our system is our own sovereign system.
Yeah.
So it goes with everything. It's all about self and self-empowering. In saying that, not to diss anybody that holds frequency for others when they are not coping. A lot of people right now are feeling this shaking up and the amping up of that I am not self, and really fighting to cling on. And so that when you can hold, not even hold, when you can just be in your frequency for someone else, just to remind them, then that's perfect. But you don't go into other people's fields, DNA, whatever, and start tinkering around. It's a sovereign thing. We do no harm, and we don't. Every being has free will and choice. So honor that, and just hold.
Well, and this is, and again, everybody chose their journey. But if I'm a practitioner and I was using that process and believed in it and serving, and it was working, but everything's changed.
Yeah.
Everything's changed. So if, and I will find out, and I will find out because if I continue to do that in this expanding consciousness, which is self-empowerment, which is no one's going to do anything for you, equal energy exchange, guess what that means? That means that if I keep doing it, even though that little voice in my head's telling me something's not right, it's my ego and my behavioral pattern that's somewhat second nature, but it's my go-to. It's still the ego. So if I do that, you like to your point, that's not conducive to further alignment for the client, but it's also not good for me because it's going to create an imbalance in me. It's going to strengthen that ego. Every time somebody agrees to do it, it's going to be, oh, I'm still, supernatural doctor, whatever. So yeah, that's an interesting twist on equal energy exchange, because we got to remember equal energy exchange is, it looks like, I give you this, you give me that, but it's also, if there is an imbalance, we've got to honor that imbalance. And you know what? We have the intelligence, the aptitude now. It's available there. You hear a lot of these practitioners this year, and I'm excited to hear it. A lot of them, compared to last year that came on the show, they'll say, everything's changed. Each time somebody walks in the door, I don't know what's going to happen. Even if I have a certain modality, it may be this one this time because this is what's needed, and they might need to talk. I might go into something else and teach them a different one. Everything's different, and that's because they're open. And it really is a take two steps, take a step, check yourself, take a step, check yourself, kind of a rhythm.
Yeah, it's all part of coming into self and self-sourcing and that in that, like I said, that frequency that we are, and that frequency that is within humanity's DNA and within humanity's bodies, it will do it. It will do it for you. So I think last time we were talking about those energies, using them as an accelerator for inspiration.
Yeah.
To move with.
Yeah.
If that's the best place, feeling space to get to use, that's perfect, because it does move you into that creative space, which is really, we're such creative beings. We're like moving art forms, moving, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, just allow the body to do what it does. You feel that force, that shaking, that's pure love. Moving that I am not self, and really obliterating that I am not self. It's like it feels good in the end, because you've just had a gut full of the I am not self and the bullshit that goes with it, right? And all the even the whatever, duality, separation, judgment, blah 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 blah, you know. Like,
it's like Charlie Brown. Hey, so I was reading, I was trying to get some horizontal time and you know, get that energy back, and before the show, and I just check the headlines, and I just do it, you know, and I know I got to be careful, but I was now I'm sitting here, now I know why, because I'm sitting here listening to you about what you just said, you know, about the whole thing about infringing on other people's, and I was looking at Qantas Airline. They just announced that if you don't have a vaccine, you can't fly with them. And then there was some other stuff in the States about this. They're going to enforce this and they're going to enforce that. And now I'm listening to you and thinking, okay, well, that's the same thing, right? Yes. Like, and so, you know, some people said, well, this should go the Trump way and you know, because we're on our whatever. And some people say, no, let's go this way. One thing about what I'm seeing that's happening is it's the same thing you're talking about. And what better to wake people up? Well, what better than to get pushed like a bully, you know? And then finally they just say, you know what, I've had enough. Yeah. No, the answer is no. Yeah. And energetically speaking, you know, then it would immediately, you know, materialize.
Well, as soon as that pure love pushes that to the point where you're in the corner and you've no longer got a choice over your own sovereignty in your own body, and you're in that position, that's that point of choice.
That's right.
That there's enough of this frequency connection to actually open time and space, to push the fabric of that aside and let it play out as we move forward to where we are in the future now.
Yeah, that's when you turn into a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, man. You know, like, seriously. I mean, you know, people talk about the Marvel movies. I don't watch them, but or they talk about the Wonder Woman or some of these other Aquaman, some of these other ones that have come out the last few years. But that's like what I see, like the people, you know, and what's the next step? Because you're going to have this, they're transforming. Yeah. And just like what's happening with the bodies, like you were talking about earlier, you know, all the different things that are happening, they're all happening. You know, you don't leave one part of it behind. It's all coming, you know, and, but yeah, I mean, I think, like what you said earlier about what's on the other side of this. Like, what is on the other side of this? I mean, how many of us have had, you know, our own, you know, communion with our body, seeing the transformation into a light body or crystalline or you know, just the magic of it. Like, it's not going to stop.
Well, it can't stop because it's not in our nature to be in a fixed position. Mm-hmm. It's not in our nature to be in loops of time that are copies of the same story playing over and over and over again. And right at this time coming up, through December, is when we came to the beginning of the end, and the end of the beginning, I call it, where, okay, we're going to come into the body, we're going to take a form, and it was accepted that whether it was accepted or not isn't, I probably won't go into that in this one. Maybe when we talk in December I will, but that part of that DNA that was copied was inserted at this time within the timelines of the loops, right? So this, us as human beings deciding to take on a form that was more part of this environment is coming to a head. So there's a lot of groups talking about how we need to come together and activate something to stop something from happening.
Yeah.
And this is part of that sovereignty too. It's like, you don't need to deactivate or activate. You actually need to collapse the timeline and make a different choice. Yeah. And that choice is becoming sovereign over your own DNA and owning it within self, and just making a choice that what's good for your body and what's good for you. That has more impact than sitting in a group meditating and trying to deactivate something or activate something else. Just let it collapse. Collapse it within yourself, collapse it outside. It does, and really bring into self more of you, more of your sovereignty, more of that knowing.
Yeah, we're going from the Me Too movement to the I Choose Me movement.
Absolutely. That's the most important thing.
Have you seen any type of change in the sacred sexuality vibration, sacred sexuality, creativity?
I feel like you can't tell where one begins and the other ends.
Yeah, that's sexy.
Yeah.
It is. That says a lot. You're on fire today.
Am I? Yeah, it's been we went through that stage, with that where you can't hold back and you have to speak your truth.
Yeah.
And part of that being quiet, apart from it was noisy and a lot of time learning to be in my body, was about all these things that you can see so clearly, and you're watching other people sort of running blindly into something that's not sovereign, and it's like, I can't hold back anymore. And you hope that it delivers with grace.
Yeah.
That it comes out with grace, that you're not, it's not even that I'm worried that I'm going to upset somebody too much, but I don't want to, I don't want people to feel that they're wrong in what they're believing, but rather just question, is this a belief or a knowing, and is this definitely coming from me,
Well, I think this is gaining traction. So we've got to a point where we start to go in a nice way. I don't care what people think. That's what you said earlier. I can do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm in alignment. I'm not going to go infringe on people's space and all that stuff. So then it becomes, we went through this other phase of, what do you say something to your friend? Do you say something to this person?
Yeah.
And now I think if you think about the whole stay in my own lane thing, right? Okay, so I'm going to stay in my own lane, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Okay, so I'm going to respect you. I'm going to respect your lane. Now, why would I now I had that dilemma of, okay, I have this telepath. This is open and intuition and telepath. I know this. I don't want them to have the same scar tissue I've had, so I'm going to say something. Well, wait a minute. I'm sovereign. They're sovereign. Whatever they are, I am. Why is it that they will be an exception? I have to say something to them. Why would I interfere? Like, who am I to do that? So I really think we're getting to a place real quick where you don't say anything. You don't
Yeah,
say anything
sometimes you
because
do, sometimes you don't. It's still a you know, what's right for you is right for you, and
yeah,
it's perfect for um
yeah.
your own instructions for you and what you're doing,
I mean, if
what
you
you're expressing, what you're here to bring for all
true,
of us.
true,
Others are going the opposite way. I didn't used to say anything, and now
yeah,
I'm careful with how I'm delivering it, but it needs to be said because you're causing harm there,
yeah.
you know.
Well, that's yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think at the on the other side of this, we won't say anything because everybody has the same connection to infinite intelligence. Everybody is aligning. Now, if somebody's running 100 miles an hour and about to hit a brick wall or run into a mountain, you say, "Hey, there's a mountain." You don't say, "What's wrong with you?" Or you know what I mean. So I think we're getting that, but I do understand what you're saying too. When there's personal affronts, attacks. I mean, it happens, and I think this part of it too we're getting through because I think at some point we're all going to be in a space because the majority will rule. The majority energy, it may not be the number of people, but the majority energy will rule, which will be alignment, which will be illumination, which will be balance and peace. And as a lot of people have kind of prophesized, there's going to come a time when things get very chaotic on the external, and they'll be looking at people such as yourself going, "Hey, what Kool-Aid are you drinking?" You know?
Yeah, and you know that time is coming at the right time of us coming into our sovereignty. It really is. So
Do you think it's close?
there's a lot of things coming that will push us further into our sovereignty.
Yeah.
How quickly we choose that, each and every one of us, determines everything. It's about sovereignty. It's about choice. It's about knowing what's good for you, and really turning off that need to look outside and to take somebody else's medicine that only you have for you. You know,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
hold frequency, and we can just the frequency, as I said, is enough. So you know, the guidance on just be you that is you. You know,
Yeah.
that frequency is everything. Nothing can come at you in that because it purifies out. But you know, what's needed most now is a bit of injection of a contagion of joy.
Yeah. Exactly. Contagion is a key word too, because it is.
Yeah.
And somebody said something to me yesterday or today or one of them on the show, and it made me think because you know how as we get into a higher level of awareness, you start to ask yourself questions you never even thought about asking yourself before. So they said something to the effect that those people over there uh, aren't going to get to this place over here, right? Uh, and that what actually made me think about it is I was listening to the Law of One raw tapes off and on, and there's a part in there I don't agree with at all. It doesn't resonate, and it talks about the harvest, and it talks about the people that are going to be in this group and the people that are going to be in that group. So when I read it, I was like, oh, what does that mean? But then again, everything you take in context, when was it written and all that stuff. But what I got out of it was, how do I know? How do I know that 5D isn't the higher plane? How do I know that half the souls that are here lined up and 3D is their nirvana? Their souls say, I want to be in duality. I want to be in a more magnified duality. people talk about the two Earths the last 2 or 3 years and how they'd split and all that stuff. But how do we know? It's all the more reason for me to stay in my own lane. It's all the more reason for me not to rely on anything, whether it's the Bible, the raw material, or anything. Right? So I don't know. What I do know is this is my lane. This is my main line connection to infinite intelligence. This is my partner. This is my purpose. This is my friends, network, whatever. And this is what I'm going to work with. Right? But ultimately, it's all me.
Perfect.
And I can't impose myself and offer the potential of someone giving up their power to my idea, belief, or system, or whatever it is. No different than I'm not going to give it up to a sacred book, a channeled book, or anything else that comes into my field, because it's me, and I am sovereign. I have sovereignty. Period.
Yeah, including, as we said, whether it's books, whether it's a belief, whether it's an idea, whether it's an attachment to an identity that needs something outside of themselves, galactic guidance, anything like that. Just gently question, gently ask.
Yeah.
Because what's right in front of you is you, your family, those people that you love, and this thing called life.
Like what? Life?
This thing called life.
Yes, that's it. That's it right there.
Yeah.
That is actually it right there. I'm alive. Period. That's all I know. What am I going to do with it? That's it. And that's really a present moment kind of question or answer to a question, because I can't do a whole lot about 2 days, 2 months, 2 years. But I can sure do something about the space I'm in and the people I'm interacting with and what I'm doing in my energy right now. Yeah. It's pretty badass, really. Yeah.
We are.
I'm happy that you've moved. That's a significant, energetic. Yeah. I mean, did that take a lot of deliberation, or did you just know, or like something like that? How does Yvania go? Human, come here. Intuitive mind, come here. What are we going to do? Or does it just boom come to you at this point?
Well, how it did go was that I am not self was like, I'm definitely not going to do that, because certain conditions are not how I want them. And then the I am self, just in a second, it was like I was just sitting outside and having this internal dialogue. And within a second, I just went, what a load of bullshit. Step through that and into your own manifestation of it, right? Yeah. I picked up the phone and said, I'm doing this now, today, spontaneously. Let's rock it, right? And that's how it went down. So it was a complete 180. It was an ending that turned into a beginning.
Yeah, so it's like instead of it's like I think of like so you're going to go get a job or something, like, right, and a job or a house, and you negotiate beforehand to get everything you want, right? Or you can say, I'm a fucking transformer. I'm going over there now, and I'm going to do my magic, right?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to get a guarantee from the universe before you walk in the door. That's not how I walk. None of us signed up for this job and said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and be on Earth if this happens and that happens and this happens.
And it pushes. It was pushing. It was like pushing against it, that old habit of expectations and attachments to this pushing with something, rather than knowing, I got this. I'm going to step right into that and but step into that manifestation, open that space and time and get in it. And I tell you what, it was the most on board, awesome decision that I've made in a long time. That just those spontaneous
Hmm.
Boom. And that opened that timeline. Last year, I was collapsing timelines and moving into new ones with family as well. And so now it's just refining.
Huh. Let me see. Something looks weird. I thought we got knocked off. We're good.
Yeah.
No, we're good. Oh, yeah. Morgan said taking that leap aligns with the flow of perfection. Yeah, and that's really what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and
And
the crazy thing is I can go back a number of years, but certainly October 2016. Um, in other words, for me anyway, making the leaps then, like October 2016. I made another one December 2016, and another one February 2017. There wasn't like it wasn't obvious, like it wasn't immediate. Oh, you did the right thing. You know what I mean? Now it comes very quickly. Like now you take a step and it's like boom. We talk about it. You know, we are big believers in paying it forward because you got to walk the talk. We don't have a lot, you know. Um, I mean, we got I got two pairs of jeans. One of them's got a hole in the crotch. Yeah, and we don't, and it's not a big deal. I'm just trying to give you a little background. But when we see something, and we don't even have to ask the other person, and we have $400, and we see that there's 250 needs to go here to this person, boom, it goes, and it never fails,
yeah.
ever. It ever never fails. It within 24 hours, 36 hours, boom, you get 1.5, 2.5 times back.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I really feel that these types of things have been discouraged and basically labeled as fantasy by the paradigm that we're moving out of. But I'm a huge believer that any of these things that are working, we have to engage them. Like, you know what? We gave our power away to this old paradigm. Let's give our power to this fantasy fairy tale paradigm.
Yeah. Well, you're moving into your own manifestation, right? And every single thing conspires to come together because it's you for that manifestation.
That's right.
And I'm seeing it everywhere in my life.
Yeah.
Just all coming together, including, you know, this long drawn out website. And I went to push live last night and there was just one little tweak.
Yeah.
Like,
I know how you feel it when I went through it for 9 years.
Yeah.
But
it was one little tweak that wasn't quite right. And I was like, you know what? What I've learned with working on it is when it's flowing and when it's all going.
Yeah.
Then that's cool. But
yeah,
just
and,
at the end, I was like, okay, I'll go and do something else creative right now and come back when it's going to move. Perhaps so as my mind gets a bit tired some with that technical stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm like, that's okay. I'll just come back. You know, it'll go when it goes.
That's
It'll
right.
be ready when it's ready. You know, and I used to worry, you know, this costs me this much to bring this, you know, for others.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, supporting others, supporting self. And it's like, gosh, none of that even matters anymore because everything's coming to me to assist that, you know, to assist that. Everything.
And the thing is too, like and we use the websites as examples, because I can relate to it. So I got excited. We pushed the button on November the 10th. It was November 11th in the Southern Hemisphere. And so immediately I started, and it went fine, you know, but the first day the store was messed up. So I had to shut it down for 4 or 5 days and we put it back up. And then I started testing channel feeds, like long-term 4, 5, 6, 8 hour, you know, because the goal is to play 24 hours a day, channel 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. And immediately it blew up the computer twice. Then there's other restrictions. And I'm like, okay, well, at least we've started, like you did. You took the step. I'm making this move today. Not only am I deciding I'm going to do it today, but I'm going to make the move. Something happens then. And then the other thing is removing the, the sting of linear pressure. And thank God that's happened to me over the last year and a half. And I think probably, like when this stuff happened, and then I've got friends getting deplatformed and they're sending me a note telling me we're going to, give you another chance or we're going to shut you. I mean, and I'm going, okay, we got to do this. And I think, oh, no. Like I'll talk to Morgan or somebody and they'll be like, no, just chill out. Yeah, there's no linear pressure. It's not real. That timeline, that deadline is not real. The universe is still conspiring.
Right?
Yeah, it's still conspiring with us. And the only thing that's going to obstruct that, the conspiring frequency with the universe, the co-op with the universe, is going to be our own stress and worry and lack of belief, and get out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Let it happen for you. Move into it in every moment. Just move into it. Make a choice. Move into it.
Morgan sent a note. She said, I look like a preacher today. I'm going to go. We're going to have to
look like a priest. Yeah. We've had that before, actually. We both worn black and white, and you look like a priest. Yeah.
I guess I'm going to do a little healing tonight.
Delivering. I'm going to leave that one alone. Not going.
The childlike wonder's coming back, role playing.
I'm going to leave that one too.
You're like, talking to you is like talking to Morgan. There's nothing I can hide. Doesn't matter what I say. You know me like a book. I think your mother does too. I think that's why she likes me.
Exactly.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize I saw her like a month ago. I didn't make the connection right away because I never look at names. I just do my thing and then I go. But I saw this comment she made. I don't remember what it was. I said, "Who the hell is that?" and it was your mom. And she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to somebody else. And it was profound. It was profound humor. It was funny.
Yeah, she's a classic. She cracks me up. I just saw Morgan said you can sleep in the spare room tonight. She needs some sleep.
Well, you know how it goes. We're going to go back to your example. We're not going to negotiate up front. We're just going to jump in there and see what transformational and alchemic abilities we can.
Exactly.
Oh, what a great way to end the day. Yeah. So you're doing good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love you, Yvania. I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, you too. Yeah. You and Morgan. Everything that you guys are doing and moving into for all of us and for yourselves, most importantly, really, incredible.
Yeah, thank you. Can't wait to see you in person, but that's just an illusionary veil. That's all it is.
Yeah, we can push through. Yeah.
I'll see you next month.
Yes, looking forward to that.
And I'll tell your mom hi, and the best to you and yours. All blessings.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you.
Thank you.